Good morning, everybody. Well, this is Earl Stewart live. You just heard Earl Stewart recording. And for you streaming us, I don't want to shock anybody, but I'm wearing a little knit cap here. It's kind of cold in Florida. It's cold for us Floridians. It's only probably 55 or 60 degrees, but to me that's cold, and my head gets cold. So I'm gonna wear this little cap with my headphones. So that's what you see there. Other than that, that's pretty much me. It's going to be a particularly exciting show this morning because we don't have one of our key people here, Rick Kearney. We're a little concerned about him. He didn't show up at the studio, and we've called him, and we haven't had any answers yet. So we're trying to reach him with both his cell number and his home number. Hopefully, we will make contact, and he will eventually get to the studio. But could be anything, and we're all wishing him the best, safety and health. And surprises like this can be a little bit worrisome. And Rick has got a huge team that follows him, mainly his YouTube team, and we'll keep everybody informed because we know how important he is to you and the show. He's a certified diagnostic master technician, and we get a lot of calls about maintaining and repairing cars on this show. And it'll be a huge void this morning if we're not able to have Rick in the studio. But the main concern is we hope he's okay. And Rick, if you're out there somewhere and you hear us, just drop us a line and give us a call. Let us know that you're okay. We would appreciate that. But calls for maintaining and repairing the car, we'll figure it out between Nancy and myself. My son Stu is not in the studio now, but he's on the way. And between the three of us and ChatGPT and Google, we might even get a technician from our dealership on the line to see if he can help us answer technical questions that Rick would normally handle. Back to normalcy for a second. Things are really exciting now with the Amazon effort to sell cars. And I want to give you a heads up now on the mystery shopping report. And this is something to you new listeners that we do every week. We go into a car dealership, unannounced, uninvited, and pretend to buy or lease a car. Undercover work. It's really exciting, fun, and very informative. So we decided with Amazon opening up their program, meaning you can buy a new Hyundai Genesis or a Kia online at Amazon, and you go in and you go on Amazon just like you're buying anything else, and they give you the full price, and they've expanded that to 48 states. So we shopped a dealership in Coconut Creek, a Hyundai dealership in Coconut Creek, and they are on the Amazon program. We went online on Amazon, and Agent Lightning did, and then went in person to the dealership and compared what they had online with what the dealership talked about. Very informative, very interesting. So stay tuned. We do that mystery shopping report at the end of the show, the last half hour actually. We're on the air between 8 and 10 a.m. every Saturday. That's Eastern Standard Time. So if you can't make anything else of the show, be sure to tune in for that mystery shopping report. In the very near future, I don't know what kind of car you drive, but in the very near future, I feel confident you can buy it on Amazon. And we can talk about that, why it's good, why it's bad, and what the dealers think about it. But it's something that is part of the wave of the future, along with all the other things we are going to be talking about. Things are happening so fast now that I never know when I wake up in the morning what the headlines of the newspaper are going to be talking about, because it always involves something about cars right now. I've got an article on the New York Times this morning about how the fact that we know where all the cars are now on the road. I mean, if you listen to the show, and we talk about autonomous driving a lot, and we talk about the fact that your autonomous car knows where all the cars are in your path. You can put it in the path of where you want to go, and you put it on autonomous, and the autonomous computer is able to see that you have a traffic jam on 995 between this street and that street, so they divert to another route. I mean, autonomous has been way ahead. So suddenly, the New York Times had an article from a professor of civil engineering that's saying, "Hey, this is a huge safety factor. We should allow people to know where the traffic jams are." Well, duh. I mean, the autonomous cars have been doing this ever since they've been on the road. Lots of stuff to talk about. We rely heavily on you to make this show work, and it's not just because we have to rely on you, but you know what we need to know to answer, and you know what we don't know. Oftentimes, we get new information from the listeners on this show, so it's a radio talk show. I mean, we say talk show. It's a site show too, because we stream this show everywhere. We're all over the country, all over the world, actually. And if you can write this down, if you're not in a car driving or a situation where isn't safe to write this down, okay, I understand that. But you probably don't have any questions right now, but you will. I mean, if you listen to 15 minutes of this show, I promise you'll say, I wonder what this is. What about that? Should I call the show? There's always something that comes up in our conversations, our dialogues, our text, our streaming that raises issues and questions. And we rely on those questions. So I'm going to give you a telephone number. This telephone number is 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. It's just an old-fashioned telephone. Not old-fashioned to me because I've been around a long time, but they don't seem old-fashioned, but they are old-fashioned. And people are texting and streaming, emailing, but there's something about a phone call. And if you just write this number down, think of a question, you can call us later, anytime between now and 10 a.m. Actually 9:30, because we'll be doing the mystery shopping report between 9:30 and 10. But that old-fashioned phone number is 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. And Nancy Stewart, she's right across the table from me here in the studio in North Palm Beach, Florida. And she's hooked up with our control room that gets the calls. They put the calls, numbers, and names on her laptop computer. And while we're talking in the studio, or we're texting, or whatever we're doing, we stop because we only have 5 lines. Last week was crazy. We had so many calls. We love it when that happens, and we try not to make you wait. So if you write the number down when you have the number, we will prioritize with the call when it comes in. Again, that phone number is 877-960-9960. Of course, we have other areas of contact that we encourage you to use. Texting is an important one, and that's 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. My son, Stu Stewart, who should be walking in the door momentarily, he receives those texts. Again, that's 772-497-6530. A lot of people don't want to talk on live radio. It's kind of scary. I mean, I was scared. Nancy was scared when we first started the show a long time ago. I mean, I had never sat in a radio studio, I don't think, before then. And here I had thousands of people at that time. And right now there's hundreds of thousands of people listening to me. That's kind of scary, because if you say something stupid, you're in trouble. And you just have to learn to say things stupid and just not worry about it. That's what I've done. So if you can laugh at yourself, it's a wonderful thing. So again, that text number is 772-497-6530. And as if I'm not drowning you in numbers, I am drowning you in numbers. We have another source we love, and it's a link. It's a web link. And the web link is youranonymousfeedback.com. YOURANONYMOUS, feedback, just like it sounds, .com. Your anonymousfeedback.com. Now, that comes in, and we don't know who you are or where you are. You can say anything you want, and it gives you the ultimate privacy. It's guaranteed. It's a company called Incognito that has this online, and they have a lot of blue chip companies like Adobe and Amazon. A lot of big companies use that for feedback from their customers and their employees. I mean, let's face it, if you didn't have anonymity, people wouldn't be calling to report crimes. People don't like the spotlight. So if you want to stay out of the spotlight and you want to make a comment to Earl on Cars, you just go to youranonymousfeedback.com, and we will read that on the air. We won't. You can tell us who you are if you want to, but you don't have to. And most people don't when they use the anonymous feedback. So there, I've covered a lot of what we call our sources, our roads of communication. And because I'm talking way too much now, partly because I'm worried because Rick's not here, and he has so many faithful followers that it's going to be a void in the show.
Good news.
Rick, if you're out there, I
Rick
hope you're
is
okay.
on his way.
Yeah, what's that?
Good news. Rick is on his way.
Oh, he's on his way.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. That's good. I'm glad he's okay. That voice you heard was my lovely wife and co-founder of Earl Stewart on Cars 20-some-odd years ago. And she is a female advocate, and that is why we have half the callers to the show now female. And the way she's done it, she'll describe that to you. She has a very special offer for first-time female callers. So if you're a female, perk up your ears here and listen to Nancy. Nancy, the mic is all yours.
Good
I
morning.
love those sunglasses, by the way.
It seems a little
You really
bright.
look cute this morning.
Seems a little bright in here. I may have to adjust, but until then I have to keep these glasses on. Jonathan, thank you so much. I love that holiday festive backdrop. It's just lovely, very fitting. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. And I have to thank you, all of us here. Thank you for tuning in to Earl on Cars. I say it every week. You make the show. You're an important part of the show. And you've become so educated, and sometimes you know more than we do. And we love talking to you. Ladies, I have $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Yes, indeedy. The first 2 new lady callers, $50. And how about that recall? 700,000 vehicles have been recalled for tire pressure monitoring system, and that is the Cybertruck. The reason I bring this up is because Earl and I were talking about the mystery shop that's going to sort of be linked with this announcement. But think about this. How convenient is it that a recall is announced and you're driving a electric Cybertruck?
Well,
And
Tesla, all Teslas, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you never have to go into the dealership for any service, and it's just one of the many great things in driving the Cybertruck, the Plaid, whatever you would choose. You save a lot of money, especially the amount of money it takes to keep the car on the road. In most cases, a lot of people don't even factor that in when they go out looking for a vehicle. And it can be pretty expensive to keep a combustion engine on the car. It's something to think about, and we are moving fast in the electric vehicle market. Also, I want to share with you the mystery shopping report that Earl talked about. Boy, John in Palm City is going to love this mystery shopping report, and it is an exciting one you want to stay tuned for. Also, text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. That's youranonymousfeedback.com. And our number, toll free, if you would like to talk to us, is 877 960-9960. I think we're going to get started, and we're going to go right to the phones.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to talk to Howard, and I believe, most likely, Howard is right here in Florida. It is mighty cold up there in New York, Howard. Good morning.
Morning, Howard.
Thanks for calling us. Nice to hear from you.
You could say that again. Okay. A friend of mine, at my suggestion, a year ago, ordered a 2025 Camry, which is a hybrid. And next week, he's going to fly in from New Jersey. He's going to be picked up by me, and I'm going to take him to Earl Stewart, and he's going to get his 2025 Camry. Then he's going to stay a week, and then he's going to drive back to New Jersey. So I just want to say thank you, Earl. You did a beautiful job, and you guaranteed him that he would have the car waiting for him.
Well, thank you, Howard. It's the car business. Among all the changes, this is one of the changes that people are able now to shop anywhere and find a dealer they like, a dealer they trust, a dealer that'll give them a fair price and a low price. And it's a little unusual that your friend would fly all the way from New Jersey. But the nice thing about having our dealership in North Palm Beach, Florida, a lot of people like to come down to our dealership and spend some time vacationing while they pick their car up. But I encourage all people like your friend Howard that are looking for a good fair price from a fair dealer. Don't be afraid to call, dealers that are 20, 100, or even 1,000 miles away. You'd be surprised how much money you can save. I probably ought to do this sometime, is just sit down in my office and start calling as if I were buying a car, and call maybe 100 dealers and see what the variation is in prices. You don't have to have too big a variation in price to drive an extra 50 or 100 miles, and especially if you can pick up your car at a nice place where you can spend some time there and make it a vacation instead of just going back and forth, or you can truck it. So that's good information, and thanks for letting us know, Howard. We appreciate it.
Yeah, the only minus is he doesn't get tires for life, but that's
That's
a
the
small
problem.
price.
Yeah, we offer that feature, and you have to have the car serviced with us. So that is a negative, but he must have overcome that he probably overcame that. He's able to visit you and have a vacation. So
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, great. Okay, have a good day, everybody, and
Hey,
I'll talk
Howard,
to you next
is
week.
that
Yes.
the friend that you've advised through the years, and you've really helped him out?
No, it's another friend.
Oh,
It's
you've
the-
got quite a
the friend that I
circle.
helped out.
Yeah, Howard's got lots
The
of
friend
friends.
that I helped out lived next door to me,
Yeah.
and he's the one that he had a problem with his car, and Rick solved the problem, and then he traded the car in, and he got a 2018 Camry XLE, and he says it's the best car he ever owned. He
Well,
never
that's
had
a great
problem.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good friend. You've really helped out a lot of your friends.
Yeah, I know, and you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and I'll talk to you again.
thanks, Howard.
Thanks, Howard. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, by the way, we got word that Rick is on the way. So to Rick's legions of followers out there, he's okay. We don't know why he wasn't here, but we'll find out. But if he's coming in the studio, he's healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yes.
So we'll find out. So probably just
He just
a silly
Overslept.
thing. Yeah. Traffic jam, accident, where he wasn't hurt.
He
He's on
overslept.
the way.
Earl.
He overslept.
Yeah. Or he overslept.
did.
That's the answer.
Yeah,
We
he-
already figured it out. Jonathan told us.
He overslept. Our number here is 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772 497-6530. I like that look that you're sporting this morning. I'm going to
Longshoreman.
start calling
Thank
you
you.
Rapper E.
Oh, or yeah, it could be a hip hop thing. I
Yeah,
was thinking more like
coordinated, too.
he's on strike. He's a longshoreman on the docks.
Yeah.
Right, he's on.
And that's possible right now.
Do we have any calls?
Amazon just went on strike with Starbucks.
That's right. He's joining them.
Yeah.
Power to the people.
Power to the people. Okay. 877-960-9960. Give us a call. Earl, back to you.
Well, we have Stu in the studio. We got Rick on the way. You see, we walked to the studio, and it was just Jonathan sitting here behind the control room.
Well, I'm always late.
Well, Stu's always, but
Well, because I don't say anything for like 45 minutes to an hour when I get here. I just sit here.
Really?
Usually, because the phones are always blowing up. In the past, we had to get to the text really early, but now I can just sit here and phone call after phone call.
Yeah, when Nancy and I started out, back in the day, it was only a 30-minute show. So if you could fake it for 30 minutes, but it's hard to fake it for 2 hours. And we had no callers back in those days.
Right.
And so it was 30 minutes of cold
A couple
sweat.
of times back a long time ago, I had shills calling in.
Yeah,
I had a couple people from the dealership
Oh,
calling
yeah.
a long time ago.
I called Stu.
Yeah, but you guys could fake it for 2 hours now. Seriously, you've been doing it so long, you just start talking, and next thing you know,
Isn't
2
it-
hours is up.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm waiting for. Oh, there we have John from Palm City. Hey, hi, John.
Good morning.
Did
Nancy
you
really woke
hear
me
my
up this
intro?
morning. She mentioned my name. I just want to mention real fast. I know you got a lot of callers. Two fast things. One is a new ad that's on TV, and it's a no-no because Consumer Reports doesn't allow it. They're recommending. Consumer Reports says Subaru Outback. It's in a new TV ad. Now, Consumer Reports, which is very respected, doesn't allow them to use their name on any ads that are run, and it's a no-no, and I guess they didn't realize it, but it's going to probably be corrected. That's
What do
one
they
thing.
do about that? If somebody do they sue them for trademark?
I don't think so. I think they're just going to send them a reprimand. It's happened before in the past.
Okay.
The second thing I got to mention, too, the largest manufacturer in Germany just reached a big contract settlement with the union. They have 10 plants in Germany. They wanted to close down 3 of the 10 because they're really hurting with Chinese imports, cars, and Korean cars. But they reached a nice settlement with the union. The union wanted 7 to 10% increase in wages, and they forfeit that because they're guaranteeing they're going to keep up all 10 plants. They're not going to close the 3 of them, and they're a very respected 87-year-old automaker, and they not only make Volkswagen, but they have Porsche, and they have Audi and other cars. So I think it's a big settlement, with the union, and they guarantee this until the end of 2030. So,
John, I read that, and the thought that occurred to me was I'm not going to take a pro-union or anti-union or pro-company position, but if I were one of the 30,000 people that was laid off to make a deal with the union, I wouldn't be that happy. It might have been a good decision for Volkswagen in view of their entire operation, and I'm sure it was. But
Yes.
the first time I remember reading union negotiating with a manufacturer to lay people or to fire people. So basically, they fired thousands of people and closed the plants so that they wouldn't have to lay off more people. So I guess you could argue it was a good thing in the long run, but not for the guy that got laid off.
well, they're saying that it's all through retirement and attrition that the layoffs will go that way.
Yeah, well, that's right. They'll be paid. That's a good point. I forgot about
You
that.
brought up the point about unions, and I don't want to get involved into that, but some of this stuff is nonsense. The one now, especially in Queens, New York, with Amazon, the workers that are on strike, they're not working directly for Amazon. None of the actual Amazon workers are on strike. These are subcontractors that do the driving. So it gets more complicated, and they say
And
it's not going to affect the delivery.
Yeah,
and then
exactly. They announced that. I was really surprised, but they said, there's no interruption in deliveries. To what you just said about independent contractors or farming things out.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's getting crazy too. Now it just started with Starbucks.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
some of the Starbucks not all over the country. So I'm not. I like a coffee, but I don't like Starbucks prices.
There you go.
The country
Thanks
is in
very
the
much
mood.
for the call. We really appreciate it.
John, I was talking about you when we opened up
Yes,
this morning,
I
and
heard it.
you're going to reiterate, you're going to love the mystery shopping report.
I look forward to it.
It's different and it's exciting, so stay tuned.
Thank you guys for always being there.
Sometimes
Thank
we
you,
call
John.
it. Sometimes we call him a doozy.
Okay.
there you go.
Yeah, Duesenberg.
This will be a Duesenberg.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, John. Our number here is 877-960-9960. We're going to go to Betsy. Betsy, good morning. Good morning, Betsy.
Hello, Bessie.
Sorry, I couldn't help.
Bessie, are you out there in Radio Land?
I am. I'm here.
Oh,
Yes.
God bless you.
Good morning,
Well,
Betsy.
we thought
Betsy,
maybe
have you
you'd-
called before?
Yeah.
I never have. No.
Oh,
This is exciting.
Congratulations, Betsy.
What a
If you'll
welcome.
stay on the line, you can share your contact information with the control room. Mike is over there, and he'll jot everything down for me, and he'll give it to me after the show, and
Rick's here.
I'll send you out a check for $50.
How about that? Okay.
So, why are you calling this morning? And how did you find us?
Well, I've known you folks for a really long time.
Okay.
A friend of mine turned me onto the radio show
Oh.
years ago, and I've been listening on and off, and then came time to buy a car, and I'm here in South Florida. I'm actually here in Singer Island, very close,
Oh, yeah.
half the year. And so we decided we would get our Florida car from you folks, and we've been really happy with it. We got a 22 RAV, and we were so happy with it, actually, I just referred my sister over, and she got a 20, I think it's 5.
Yeah.
She just got the car a few months ago, so I guess it must have been.
Beautiful.
Yeah, RAV also. So we're good. But
That's
I have a
great.
question.
Word of mouth is amazing, isn't it?
It really, it's the backbone of everything. My husband used to be a dentist,
Isn't it?
and it was for him, too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to hear
but-
from you, Betsy.
I do have a question that I really would like to know the answer to. So I bought the car, and we love it. And it's 2 years old now, so we just ran out of our covered services agreement. And I'm realizing we are in town 6 months. For 6 months, we put the car to sleep, put a solar charger on the battery, and don't use it. So if we haven't used it for 6 months, how can we come in for service for 6 months in order to keep our tires for life warranty going? You know, because nothing's
The
done.
answer is the oil, Bessie. It's yeah, and
Rotations.
the tires.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's a car, unbeknownst to most people, when it sits there, actually in some ways deteriorates more than it is when it's driven. Rick is getting hooked up to the computer now, and he'll probably tell you that driving a car is the best thing you can do for a car. We get a lot of calls from people like you that let their car sit for several months, and they go back and forth, north and south, snowbirds. And
Yeah.
and with the salt air, with the tires sitting on concrete probably for a long time, and all the instruments in your cars that are intended to move. He says if you could have the best thing you could do is have a neighbor, a friend that would drive your car once a week just for maybe a half hour or an hour. Any amount of driving would make that car pretty much fresh and not have the problems you're describing. But you're taking pretty good care of it. I mean, as long as a trickle charger is another way to keep things
they do
fresh
that.
with your car. Try not to have salt air. How do you avoid it in South Florida? It's almost impossible. And maybe covered
Yeah.
or in a garage is best, but it is a
We do have
challenge.
it covered. We do have it covered in a covered space.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So it stays pretty clean, and I've got this solar charger. Actually, my husband comes up north probably once every 6 weeks to see his mom.
Yeah, that'd
And
be
so
good.
he gets to drive it for a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the
it's not
Tires for
really-
Life, program, we just mirrored that to the Toyota's required maintenance, and it requires it every 6 months. So we took what was in the Toyota's factory maintenance schedule and just said, as long as you do that, that's how we came up with those. But there's good
Right.
reasons for that. A lot of people
Right,
ask
right.
that
So-
question. Yeah.
So I'm still a little bit confused though, because I've had basically no mileage, just some local stuff that my husband does. If he comes up, maybe 2 or 3 times in the 6-month span. So are you going to change my oil even if I only have 200 miles on the car, or how does that work?
No, you're 10,000 miles or 12 months, so six months isn't going to be an
Yeah.
issue.
Well, so at 12 months, if you only have several hundred miles, it's still recommended to change. Rick can tell you that. And it's not going to kill you if you delay it, but if the car isn't driven much, let's say you have 1,000 miles, and after the first year oil change, it's still required on the maintenance schedule. So what's the reason for that?
Toyota still recommends it because what happens is you wind up with condensation building up in the engine, and that water starts to fill with the oil. It mixes in a little bit. Now, I know oil and water don't actually mix, but when the engine starts running, it can cause issues in there. It breaks down the oil over time. So oil eventually in an engine will break down. Its chemical formula starts to break down a bit, and it forms sludge. It collects dirt. So it's always a good idea to get the old oil out and fresh oil in. It's actually a very cheap insurance policy to extend the life of the car itself.
Oh, we've seen what happens when customers don't change the oil regularly.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's the most basic maintenance there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering because there'd be basically no mileage. But I
Right.
guess you kind of answered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's. I guess it's not talked about because we get questions like that on that subject a lot. So it's not
Yeah,
unusual to
I'm
wonder
sure.
about that. Yeah.
Great question. Question, Betsy. I'll tell you what, it sounds like you take great care of your vehicle. And boy, I'll tell you, I agree with the guys as far as having, if you possibly can get somebody, to take the car for a drive while you're away, it would be definitely the icing on the cake, I'll say.
Well, do you think it's like a 4 or 5 day visit every 2 months is enough?
Rick, what do you think?
4 or 5 days
For
to drive
exercise in
it
the car.
Like every 6 weeks, let's say.
every 6
that.
weeks?
That's better than
Okay.
letting it sit for 6
Yeah.
months.
yeah. Six weeks is it would be about the max that I would really want to go, and then take the car if they can take the car out just for a drive, even on the highway for a while, just to kind of exercise it a bit. Even just that Sunday drive, like we're in West Palm Beach, Florida, so I usually would recommend to folks. There's a road called the Beeline Highway that it's about like 8 or 10 miles out to where a place called Indiantown. It's like 20 miles, I think, out to Indiantown. And it's a short drive out there, really, but it's just an easy drive with almost no traffic lights. And I recommend that to folks here. If you want to take a nice little drive, just cruise out there and back, and it gives it a chance for the car to kind of lubricate everything, let everything just kind of get some exercise
Let
in
the
it.
hoses warm up.
Yep, the
calm
tires
down,
get back in shape because as your tires sit still, they'll develop what's called a flat spot on the bottom. And when you first drive, if they've been sitting for any good length of time, when you first go for a drive, you'll actually feel this thump, 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 thump. That takes a little bit of time for those tires to round back out.
So,
So-
what Rick is saying, is gold. And Betsy, that's key for you to do just that. Take it out for a drive or have a friend. But like Rick said, a good drive, a long drive. It used to be that, some of our customers and some of our callers believe that, just taking the car out in the neighborhood, but you have to take it really out on the open road.
It's like a dog.
Okay. Yeah.
You gotta walk your dog.
Yeah, you're right.
You gotta walk your car.
Ride your dog. Yeah. So okay, so just to summarize this for me, then, if my husband comes in, let's say every 6 weeks, visits his mom, puts on a couple hundred miles on the car,
Oh, that's plenty.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're cooking.
Yeah.
All right.
Betsy, it was a pleasure talking to you. Spread the word. We're building a
Certainly
platform
will.
here for the ladies.
Absolutely. I'm amazed that I'm only your first female caller. I was waiting to see who'd show up.
Thank you.
Just this morning.
I'm looking forward. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
877-960-9960, and our text number is 772-497-6530. And don't forget your anonymous feedback.com. We're going to go to Michael, who's been holding. Thanks for your patience, Michael. Michael's calling us from Palm Beach Gardens.
Yes, good morning. I have a question. I understand they want to remove the AM station radio from vehicles. What will we have to do is that a legislative issue with the federal government? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, we've talked
And what
about
we
it.
could do to
Yeah, that
what we
was
could do
a
to
while.
prevent it?
Right, you can still tune in in most of the new vehicles now. You have streaming audio, so you'd have a source that actually streams AM stations. I can think of like TuneIn app right now. There's a lot of iHeartRadio. Yeah, all the streaming services that have podcasts and things like that, you should be able to find. The nice thing about it is you can tune in any AM station in the world, so you don't have to just get your local AM station when you do it,
Right.
when you stream it. Yeah. I
So
don't know
let's
why
say
they did it, though. I mean, I don't know if it was legislative or it was the FCC or just said it's not used enough. I
Well,
don't
no
know.
one was using it, so it was just a matter of they decided to eliminate
Yeah,
it.
they might need that bandwidth for drones.
Oh.
You know, here we are talking on AM radio, talking about how no one wants it
But
anymore.
we're also on FM, though. We're
Yeah,
on FM
yeah,
too.
I know. Well, we're on FM and AM, so
But we're worldwide.
yeah, right.
It doesn't matter.
Well, thank you for the info. Appreciate it. Merry
Yeah.
Christmas
How
to
did
all
you
of
hear about that?
Happy
Was
New
that
Year.
just like in a conversation somewhere and something just came up, or?
Well, no, I heard about it, and I said, gee, I don't think it's fair that
Yeah.
they would eliminate that programming, So
Yeah.
anyway,
I guess time goes on.
yep. Merry Christmas to you guys,
Merry
and Happy
Christmas.
New Year.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
calling.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Merry
Michael.
Christmas,
Same to you.
Michael.
Bye now.
Great hearing from you. Okay, that number is 772-497-6530, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go back to the recovering car dealer.
You know, I can't stop talking enough about this autonomous. One of the reasons I yak about autonomous cars is because Nancy and I both drive autonomous cars. Nancy drives a Tesla Plaid, and I'm driving a Cybertruck. And continuously they are upgraded, and the new software is added, and we see the changes and the tweaks. But I hope people understand that I'm not selling this product. I'm just telling you that I have a scientific background, degrees in physics and mathematics. I was a technical guy before I became a car dealer. A lot of people don't know. So I'm fascinated with technology, and I could just say, and Nancy will agree. When we walk out of our home and into the garage and get into our autonomous cars, it is a pleasant, safe experience to us. Not a perfect experience, but we both have the feeling now that our Tesla autonomous cars actually drive better than we do. And there's subtleties to it that we appreciate every time. Not to say that, as I say, the autonomous software in the Tesla is not perfect, but the good news is it improves all the time. We're at the point now where, and there'll be another software update shortly, where basically we'll just have to walk from our home into our garage, get in the car. At that point, the autonomy can kick in. It will open the garage door for you, back your autonomous car out, and take you to the point that you navigate to that you entered in your home in your iPhone, and you transferred the information to the car before you ever got in the car. And when it gets to the point you're going, it goes onto the parking lot. For a long time, the software could not navigate around a parking lot because it's not part of Google or Google Maps or anything. But somehow or other, they have mapped these parking lots, and they can navigate in the parking lot. And when it goes to the parking lot, it gives you, every time you go by a parking place, it flashes it on your touch screen. And when you find a parking place that you like, near the Publix or the Walgreens or the radio studio, you reach out, you touch your touch screen, and the autonomous car backs into your parking place. And it will back into a parking place that I wouldn't be able to back into, or for that matter, I'd be afraid to go into, and Nancy is the same way. But because of the cameras, 8 cameras around this Cybertruck, and it sees everything that you can see and about 100% more. I mean, imagine having 8 eyes in your head, and that's what we have with the autonomous driving.
It's like being a spider.
And you have to have a little courage or be a little foolish. I get to you in a minute, Rick. You have to be a little foolish or a little crazy like I am and Nancy is. But I will go, I'll see a parking place, I'll say, we can't get in that. But I say, let's see what happens. And it's never let me down. It has, in a couple cases, had to maneuver too much, and I had people in the driveway area, waiting for me, and then I would take it off park and go somewhere else but if I'd given it enough time, that autonomous car would have fit into that parking spot. Rick, what was your...
Well, imagine in 10 years when all the cars are autonomous, or a huge majority of them. And now with your parking lot, instead of the cars being parked 4 feet apart so you got room to open doors, they're all basically mirror to mirror.
Yeah.
And
So you have
they're
to climb
fitting
in the
even
sunroof.
tighter. And you're
They
filling
come out for you.
But you've got so much more space because the cars dropped you off. So the cars are in a much tighter area. Yeah. You don't need near as much room for the cars to park. You could fit way more cars in there. And then you could even have cars even double parked.
We could fit 1,000 cars in our parking
one
garage.
If one car needs out, the other car just moves a little bit to let the first one out. I mean,
well, that's true.
And they're all talking to each other.
So if any of you out there that are thinking about this, I would, and again, I'm a Toyota dealer, so here I am driving a Tesla and talking about Teslas. That's because I'm crazy, because I earn my money selling Toyotas. But I go to a Tesla dealer, and by the way, they're owned directly by Tesla. You're not dealing with a dealership, but really, you're dealing with the manufacturer, and say, I want to try out one of those autonomous cars, and have a salesperson, and they're very good, and they're not like a car dealership salesperson at all. And have them go out there, I think you would be amazed. The other point with Nancy and me is we each just got our driver's license renewed last week. And Nancy turned 82, I turned 84. And I don't mean to be morbid about this, but we're not children anymore. And we know that at some point, had we not been in a situation where we would have something like an autonomous car, we probably would have to stop driving. And I don't know about you, but to me, driving is like part of the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution.
That's your freedom machine.
It's part of our freedom in America is driving a car. Mm-hmm. And so that is something to think about. A lot of our callers are a little older, and in 10 years, 20 years, you are definitely going to be facing the point where you're not going to have to hang it up and not have your car. You'll have an autonomous car that'll be just almost as good as driving. You're sitting in the driver's seat, and you put your hands on the wheel because you should as a backup, but you're not doing anything. The car is functioning entirely without you.
Yeah, and it was interesting that we found out that we didn't even need a license.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
Florida
was
is
interesting.
one state where if you're unlicensed driver, you can ride in an autonomous car. So forget about your driver's license. Just hop in the car if you live in Florida.
Exactly. And you
The
know,
free state of Florida.
I can say all I want about autonomous and electric and everything, but just recently, unfortunately, I had a few citations from Tesla, and it wasn't holding the yoke tight enough, and then I had a copper glove on, so it makes you more aware of your driving skills and focusing, so that's a good thing for autonomous. Okay, we're going to go to the phones, and we're going to talk to Tina, who's calling us from West Palm Beach. Good morning, Tina.
Oh, good morning. It's a cold one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very
If you're
refreshing.
Floridian, it is.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I just wanted to give the update on the oil pan change last week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall.
Yeah.
Everything went well, and thanks to your guidance and your information, they did take care of me over at 441, and I told them I was going to mention it on phone, that it was a Toyota dealer at 441 off of Southern. Anyway, the agent spoke with the manager, and they reduced it quite a bit. And did the oil change, gave me a new filter, 2 filters, the cabin and the engine. And my 2006 Camry Solara is running smoothly.
Wonderful.
That's great. So,
hey, Tina, did you know that
Rick
a
gets
Southern
another
441 is owned by a man named Terry Taylor, and he's the largest owner of private owner of car dealerships in the world. And he doesn't put his name on any of the dealerships. When he buys a dealership, he slightly modifies the name maybe, but there are no Terry Taylor dealerships. But if you ever really get pressed and you have a problem with Southern 441, tell them you're a friend of Terry Taylor, and they'll hop to it.
Excellent. Thank you. That sounds, well, I'll keep that in mind. I make notes on everything. And thank you for the Christmas gift I got in the mail this week.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for listening, and thank you for spreading the word. We definitely appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend.
You also. And a Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, Tina. 877-960-9960. No, great, Rick.
Works for me. I'm totally happy.
Yeah.
That she got her the oil pan taken care of there.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to go to Frank, and Frank is a regular caller. He's calling us from Jupiter Farms. Good morning, Frank.
Well, good morning. Good morning to you all. Merry Christmas, of course.
Christmas, Frank.
Merry Christmas.
And just glad to be back in the country. I was on a cruise.
Oh.
I was going to call you from Barbados. And it'll be one of your, but the phones didn't go through, and it was other dilemmas down there, which won't talk about on the air. But it's not really the place I remember when I used to fly there with Eastern American. But anyway, with that in mind, every time on the show, I hear different people talking about different items and problems, and makes me think and realize with the tires and the flat spot, that's very true. It's also true for people that own boats, or especially RV trailers, that may sit for weeks, months, and even maybe longer than that.
That's me.
They should be rolled out there to get rid of those flat spots.
Yep.
So that's a good word of advice to add on to just cars.
Yeah.
Also,
I was just going to say they rot. They just sit out there, and unless they're maintained, it's like your house. I mean, you can't sit there. You have to eventually wash the algae off, the salt off the windows, and mow the lawn. And things.
You got to grease those bearings too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is very sure. And then a couple of weeks ago, one lady was calling about the car wash and stuff like that because of the salt and things like that and the undercarriage of the car.
Yeah.
And I go to Mint Echo Car Wash. There's like 5 dealerships around. Ours is up here on Indiantown near the old bowling alley and Home Depot. But they have a great plan. It's an unlimited plan for $25 a month. It starts at. You take your car in, and they wash it top to bottom. Underneath, it's they spray it. It comes out crystal clean. I mean, it's a great deal, and it's called Mint. For mine, I got a pickup truck,
Mint,
It's on. There's one on. I don't know if there's multiple locations. There's one on Maplewood Drive in Jupiter, right near where I live.
There's a lot of them.
Oh, okay. I need to see the one near my house, and they are busy all the time. They got cars, and they're pumping them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the soap that goes on. I mean, you go through. It's a ride through. You just put a neutral and ride through. It's like the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean the soaps and stuff. But for a pickup truck, most other places like $75. They do it for mine, unlimited, for $48 a month. Not that I drive my truck that much, but it's nice to go through. It's a very nice, and I think they got some down on Southern and Okeechobee, that area.
That's a great comment, because people are procrastinators, and it can get expensive. That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. 25 a month. I mean, I'm up there getting close in your age too, so it's hard for me to bend around much. But here's one for Rick. Now that he's in, I'm glad to hear you came in. I have a 2012 E350 Mercedes with about 130,000 miles on, and I found a place they do my oil changes and stuff at a nice reasonable price. So anyway, they mentioned my engine mounts need replacing. They're collapsed, and I go, engine mounts? Wow. Well, when should we do that? I said, well, if they're not bothering you, don't worry. And I feel a little bit of vibration. He says, you drive your car easy. I mean, I still got the original brake pads. This is how easy I drive that car.
Yeah.
They're going to probably change them the next oil change.
120,000 miles on the original brakes?
Yes. My mom was a bus driver. She taught me all her training that they would get her every time. I anticipate the drive. No, I'm not hard. They're amazed. They're really amazed. I just had the hot water heater break while we were on our cruise, and it was 18 years old. And they go, "How do you get a hot water heater to work 18 years nowadays?" So I'm easy on my equipment. But anyway, so back to the engine mounts. Is that something that should be done, because it's going to be a little time consuming and costly, or just drive with them just sitting on the frame, I guess?
It depends on how the mounts are set up, but generally, what's actually going to happen is, as they deteriorate further from age and that, they're going to start getting more aggressive. You're going to feel that vibration and the movement of the engine a lot more, and it can cause damage to some of the other components just by it bouncing around a little. Like when you shift gears, the engine's going to move a little more aggressively, and it can actually start to cause some wear issues. So it's going to depend really on, just how severe that vibration is getting. But I would recommend, once it really starts to get extremely noticeable, I would definitely get it done.
Okay.
You've got obviously a great car that is serving you fantastically, and from the way you're driving it, you've got a lot of life left in that car. I mean, it can go a lot more. And for the cost of motor mounts versus the cost of a car payment and having to go through all the deals of getting a newer car, I would stick with the older one myself, and I'd put the little bit of money into it to keep her going. I mean, that would be my thing. But granted, I'm one of those that I'm totally willing to drive a car until the doors fall off of it. But it just, that sounds like a very small investment to keep that car on the road. Yeah.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. Pretty what my conclusion was as well, because I don't see any cars down there really. Unfortunately, I had both knees replaced, and so my mobility is an issue now. And I had a really fancy car called a Jaguar F-Type with a V8. It was like flying a jet with afterburners that I used to do in the Air Force.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's hard to get in and out. And the Beeline Highway I agree with, because I took my girlfriend out for our first date out there, and they had some people on their drag race, and the road was closed off. And so we went through trying to catch two motorcycles, which was a losing venture. But as we're passing 165 and still accelerating, I look at her and say, "You all right?" She said, "I feel like I'm in your cockpit." It's like Nancy. She's a keeper. But anyway, that's about it. Y'all have a great... I did notice you said about a Christmas gift. That is really cool for that lady. That was neat that you did that. So,
hey, Frank, you sent me that picture of those cars there?
Oh, yeah. That's what I meant to tell you. Dadgummit.
I'm glad I reminded you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that a Vauxhall Astra?
It is somewhere. So you notice how both drivers doors are so close to each other, you would assume.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
Well,
nobody
you know
knows what I'm talking about. Frank sent me a picture of a Hyundai, and it looks like an Opel or a Vauxhall car that I've seen in England before. But they're parked very close to each other in front of a building, and it's not America. so what's going on there?
Well, I saw that, and I thought you guys immediately. Thank you so much. God, this dementia's setting in early today. The reason they're so parked so nice and close is because they're both right-hand drive cars.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forgot about that. So where's this?
No,
Bermuda or something?
Actually in England. We went.
England, okay.
We flew to London to get on a cruise when they were having
I guess Bermuda because you said the cruise, so I didn't think.
Oh,
it was
no.
I've seen these in those Opels. I think they're made in Germany, right? German cars?
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
So,
all right, thanks, Frank.
Nice,
that's really cool.
Nice you guys have a wonderful
Frank?
holiday. Yes, sir.
Mark H. from the YouTube channel, he gave a comment here. It says, for your motor mounts, make sure they use the original equipment, meaning the actual Mercedes motor mounts. He says, otherwise, you're very likely to wind up having to redo the job in just 2 years. So apparently he's had a little experience with some of those aftermarket parts, although they can be a lot cheaper. Watch out, because sometimes you get what you pay for on aftermarket parts, and the cheaper parts can fail a lot easier than the factory ones.
No, that's very good advice. In fact, about a month ago, I got my wild hair. I decided to look at a 56 Chevy Bel Air that was for sale, V8 and all. Went down to Miami, test drove it, and it is a beautiful car, but it doesn't have power steering. So try and turn a car that's just not really moving much. Oh, my goodness. And it doesn't have AC. And I said, you know what? At this point in my life, I still need some comforts. But it was a beautiful car. But they said, oh, yeah, you can get the power steering kit installed like for $1,500. And it's just like you're saying, if you don't get the factory parts, they don't even last a year. So it's, again, it was very good advice. But I'm sure this guy that does it, he works at Mercedes-Benz.
Interesting.
So I'm sure.
Frank, I have to commend you on taking care of your vehicle. There's a lot of people on the road that think that maybe just taking the car in for maintenance, does the trick. But I'll tell you what, you hear stories like yours, the example of you respecting your vehicle, and that's the life of your vehicle is much longer when you just take care of it like you do by driving correctly.
Yeah, and I was a little concerned when I first heard that your co-friend was not there quite yet. Yeah. Because we live in Jupiter Farms, and the wrecks out here in the last few weeks is just unbelievable. It's like almost every day.
Rick
people
made
don't want. Yeah, Rick is a good
the main
guy,
attraction.
He's the best driver you've ever met. He's not wrecked.
Thanks so much, Frank.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
you guys. Thank you, Nancy. Bye, Earl. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're going to stay with the phones, and we're going to go to, guess who? The Roadrunner.
Maybe.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good
morning.
Okay, first of all, 82 and 84 is the new 65, okay?
Okay.
And first of all, Earl, you broke a rule. You never give away a woman's age.
Yeah, I get sloppy. I'm in trouble now.
Okay, and that other thing, did you say if you have an autonomous car, you don't need a driver's license?
In Florida, it's the only state. I got the statute here. I'll read it for you if you like, or send you a copy. But I was shocked. This is before we had renewed our license, and basically I was just trying to check to see what happens if I don't pass the test. I had cataract surgery, and so did Nancy, and we got to pass an eye test, and so we were nervous and jerky about what happens if we lose our driver's licenses. And so I'm playing around on Google, and I went to subject of autonomous cars, and I found out that Florida is the only state that allows an unlicensed driver to ride in a autonomous car. So they might change the law, but right now you're good to go, no matter who you are.
Well, suppose a police officer asks for your license. What do you tell him?
Well, the police officers are probably going to be very confused, but probably the best thing to do would be to carry a copy of that statute. Maybe even have your lawyer, give you a letter saying this is official Florida law, and then hand that copy to the cop. But
Yeah, well, for me, I'm just going to step on the
it'd be really
accelerator.
a lot of fun, although scary. But
never catch you.
I'm envisioning the video now where the cop pulls you over, and
Chase me.
he says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I said, "I would say, well, you didn't pull me over. I had nothing to do with this. I'm not driving the car."
The car pulled over. Apparently, I didn't ask it to.
Yeah,
It just pulled over.
the car, ran the red light, not me.
Right.
And may I have your license? I said, no, I don't need a license. And then you hand him the letter from the lawyer.
And then you say, Cybertruck, go! And then
Hey,
Yeah,
if I'm
I
in the
mean,
plaid, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to step on the accelerator, see if they can catch me.
there you
Well,
go.
then you're
Now
breaking the law
driving. Now
because then you're driving.
True. Let's see if we can get a Florida police officer on the line and to
Yeah.
see if that's true. Also, I want to wish you, our listeners, a Merry Christmas and a Happy, Healthy New Year.
Thanks,
Same
Steve.
to you, Steve. Thank
Merry
you very
Christmas.
Okay, enjoy, people. Thanks for another great year.
Thank
Beep,
you.
beep, Bills.
Thank you for being part of the show, Steve. We love your company. And Happy New Year to you also. We're going to go to Bob, who is calling us from Lake Park. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Yeah. Welcome back, Stu.
Thank you.
I have some statistics for you. 1 in 10 cars has a full-size spare. 1 in 4
Oh, my God.
car loans are upside down. 80% of all colors that are produced are either black, white, silver, or 50 shades of gray. The whole automotive industry is in turmoil.
Yes.
The head of Stellantis has resigned.
Mm-hmm.
The new person said he's going to bring back the Hemi. That was his answer.
Did you say you're calling to cheer us up?
Yeah.
Okay.
this is
All right,
the automobile.
continue with this horrible list that you have.
This is the automobile industry.
Yeah, I know.
You got Nissan is telling the dealers that they have to merge with their Infinity dealers, and that Honda may take them over, and they got to get the approval of Renault because Renault owns a big piece of Nissan, and I guess Mitsubishi's in on this deal too.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. You know what I meant to ask you? They eliminated a lot of the entry models, the manufacturers. So when you go in to buy a model of a car, you no longer can get in at a certain price point.
Right.
The price points have all gone up.
Right.
And they'll tell you, well, it has this and it has this feature, and you're getting this other feature. So you're not giving you a choice. They're
Exactly.
force feeding you this down your throat.
And they
do you
might officially have that model, but it's not produced and distributed in where you can reasonably just get one. I've seen this even with Toyota and the other manufacturers. It's the profit margins are bigger on the more expensive vehicles with the more equipment, and
but
so
they're
you
driving
get
the-
mad at the manufacturers for that one.
It's driving the average price of the vehicles now for new cars,
Crazy.
closing in on 50. And you think this is a contributing factor, along with the adjusted market values and the fees? Why have so many people are underwater on their car loans? You got 1 in 4. That's a pretty big number.
It is, yeah.
That is, and I can tell you, this is from firsthand watching this happen here in our market, and that was during the post-pandemic period when everybody went nuts price gouging, and you were putting people in loans at loan-to-value ratios that would have made people's heads spin in the past, and so they're in these bloated loans, and now the prices have come down, and they got stuck. And like, this is one of the things that we saw this coming when during the middle of this, like, what's going to happen in two years from now, and that's what you're describing. And
All right, so let me ask you a question. Somebody comes into your dealership, and they want to buy a car, and the car that they're driving right now is in this situation where they're, that they owe more on the car than the car is worth.
yeah.
How do you handle that negotiation?
Well, we on the price end of the and also on our trade, we're not going to negotiate. We will try and assist the customer and get
Let me interrupt there. Stu will tell you how we handle it, and I just want to interject how, unfortunately, most dealers handle it. They don't want the owner of the trade-in to know that they're upside down, that they owe more on their car than it's worth, or a lot of money, because when a person realizes that, they might be thinking, well, maybe I really shouldn't buy a car, maybe I can't afford to. So they manipulate the numbers by raising the price of the car you're buying and taking that into consideration when they pay your car off. So in essence, you could be upside down, but you never know it, and you think you've made a genuine purchase when you really haven't. Now, Stu will tell you the way it should be done. Yeah.
Right. Is that legal?
Yes. I mean, a lot of, you see it that is, you can see that in advertising a lot. You see I heard the phrase, we'll pay off your trade no matter how much you owe. It's to make that go away, because that's a big obstacle to buying a car, right? You're still paying for another car. So at our dealership, we would appraise it and give you our best value. It's going to be a one-shot deal. But we're also going to advise you and help you. There's other sources, and that's the best way to do it, is just get a few sources for your vehicle. But the thing is, it's just mathematics, and we're just upfront. If you have a loan that exceeds the value of your car, there's only one way to take care of that, and that's to come up with cash and pay off the loan, and that's coming from you, the consumer. And that's the only way to do it. Appraisals can be reconsidered, especially after making calls. We can have somebody call us back, with a figure that we were waiting for. But it's not really a negotiation. We just kind of say, here's your situation, and unfortunately, it's up to the customer to solve it. It's some dealerships will they do wheel and deal. I mean, most dealerships wheel and deal, so they can give up if they're working with enough profit. They could give up that and maybe take a less profitable deal and to help pay off your loan. But ultimately, it's you can't get away from that. That's a loan.
Well, the loans are given when someone comes into your dealership. Are you working with a number of banks?
Yeah.
That's what you do, right?
Right. And but ultimately, they're going to, even if a bank, they're going to look at the open auto loan. And structurally, to make the deal work, they have a parameter. They say, we're going to loan X number of dollars over the value of that vehicle, and if it doesn't matter how much you owe on it. So if it goes past those parameters, the cash has to come from the customer.
Right, and the interest on a new car loan now is going to vary depending on your credit score, I guess, right?
Of course.
So what are the interest rates running now?
We're starting to see APR specials across all manufacturers now, including Toyota.
Well, those are artificial.
Yeah, that's not determined by the right now. Like if you just got a car loan, you're probably 6%, 7%. Then there's specials they have, and usually it's for shorter terms. So if you're somebody who wants to pay off a car, you can get like a 3.9, a 1.9 here and there. But those are subsidized by the manufacturers.
Right. Just interested because I know that they're talking about not lowering the Federal Reserve came out and said that the interest rates are going to stay higher for longer.
Yeah,
so
they were talking about that on Squawk Box, and I was listening to that, Bob, and I was a little surprised that a lot of people are waiting until 2025 to purchase a vehicle. But as you just said, the interest rates are I think they're gonna fluctuate, if you can believe this, between 6.3 and 6.2, something like that. Is that an accurate statement? Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's confusing. I mean, Jerome Powell, to me, I think he's living in a bubble.
Yeah, a lot of people.
The people today
would agree with you.
People that are on fixed incomes are getting clobbered.
Yeah.
If you have the ability to work, you can offset some of this. You can work through jobs. I mean, I did that before when I was a younger person. I mean, you can offset some of this stuff. If you have a fixed income, then you're behind the eight ball. But and as far as the driver's licenses are concerned, I think around 1 out of 3 drivers on the road in Florida now don't have licenses anyway.
You're
So,
right.
You know,
My
was talking
doctor, my
about that the
primary
other
doctor,
day.
a few years ago, he was also a friend, and I asked him about his elderly patients, and he said he thought that most of the patients that he had flunked on hearing or eye test or medical reasons in terms of driver's license, he said continue to drive without a driver's license. So it's an unknown situation. It's a dangerous situation. People that are driving cars that are not capable of driving one should not be on the road. But they know this too, and they don't drive very much, and they drive very carefully, and chances are they'll never get caught. So a lot of the drivers out there on the road should not be there. We would be far better off with everybody in an autonomous car.
right. But what you're talking about, and I don't disagree with you. I just think that you're getting way, way ahead of yourself. I don't see that happening for quite a long time.
Well, that's because you don't leave your house every morning and get into an autonomous car like Nancy and I do, and they take us wherever we want to go. We say
That's
take
wonderful.
us to Walgreens, take us to Publix, take us to the radio station, and I'm telling you, if we go to a new address we've never been there before, they find it quicker. The autonomous car also uses the most efficient way. The autonomous car, with its computer, sees a traffic jam 3 miles ahead that you have no idea is there, and diverts you to a route that will take you there and bypass the traffic jam. You have to experience it to believe it.
I get it. Yeah, it sounds
amen.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It sounds wonderful, but to me, it's just like
It's,
science fiction.
I know. It was to us, too. Nancy and I are a little bit crazy because the average person would not do what we do. And I think you're absolutely right. People are going to be very reluctant to trust a machine.
Yeah, you got to be a little gutsy, and most definitely. And it's an experience. I never thought I'd be sitting here in this chair bragging about autonomous and how much it has helped me. And you know something? Earl and I, going up to renew our license, I'll tell you, walking into the tax collector's office to the
Martin
Department
County,
of Motor Vehicles, I'm going to tell you, you sit back and you look around, and these people are on the road, and you wonder,
How did they get to the DMV, right?
yeah, how, I mean, Bob, no exaggeration. I mean, there were people in there that were so, well, I'll use the word old. There were people in there that others helped them into the Department of Motor Vehicles because they couldn't walk. They were on walkers and canes, and it was very telling.
Right. So what do you think about Honda? You think Honda's making the right move here, buying Nissan?
I think they're saving Nissan's life. It's not really a merger. I think if you were in the negotiations and the actual event when that happened, Honda offered to save Nissan, and that's what happened. It's not really a merger.
Not a merger.
Yeah, they're really.
Okay.
You mentioned Nissan whenever we first started to talk, Bob, and they're really trying hard with a new executive. To help this company, to help rejuvenate it.
Right. Well, I just saw the new Murano. They came out with the 2025, and they did a wonderful job on that car, except the drivetrain. They went to a 4-cylinder engine, and a lot of the manufacturers are going to these 4-cylinder engines, but the weight of the vehicles are so heavy. I don't know if these are going to hold up over time. So that's disappointing. But the vehicle itself is really beautiful. What they did with it, and it's not very expensive. The price point on that car is pretty good. So I think in that respect, Nissan has come out with what I think is going to be a winner. But I don't think their financial situation is going to allow them to continue doing business.
Exactly.
I mean, they're in a big trouble. I don't want to be the Grinch. So I'll just.
We started off as the Grinch.
Okay, I just thought it was very interesting. I wanted to ask you last week, Sue, but I guess You must be a Eagles fan. You're in Philadelphia all the time. So,
I did watch the game that Sunday night.
good. Okay, cool. All right. Well, everybody have a happy holiday. I'll talk to you next week.
Just to add to that little list you had at the beginning there.
Right.
What is it with the new Dodge Charger, an electric car, and they have a speaker so that it can make a rumbling engine sound?
I saw it. I saw the review on it. Very interesting.
That's for having fun. That's all.
Yeah.
You should hear the horn on our Cyber Beast. They just downloaded the greatest horn of all time.
Foghorn.
I scared the hell out of Nancy the other day. I didn't tell her I downloaded the horn, and she came walking out to the Beast, and I hit the horn.
Would it
I
sound
startled
saw
her.
that.
It sound like
I'll have to go on
Godzilla?
YouTube. I'll have to go on YouTube and listen to that.
What's the sound of it?
Yeah, it's not bad. It was,
That's the best I can do.
it's not bad.
Well,
It certainly isn't frightening.
I have been seeing more of those trucks in the local area. I've seen a number of them.
Yeah, they're all over the
And
place.
some silver, black mostly. I saw a blue one. I have seen some of them around. They're very odd looking, but they certainly do grab your attention. I
They
have to
do.
say that.
And, hey, Bob, did you know that the Cyber Beast, the weight of the Cyber Beast, 6,843 pounds.
No, don't hit my Mustang, please.
That's a lot of stainless
Otherwise,
steel.
I'm done.
Hey, Bob, it was great talking to you. We have to
Okay.
run.
Have a happy holiday, everyone.
Thank you.
You
Merry
too.
Christmas. Okay, we are going to go to Marty. Patience. You've had a lot of patience this morning, Marty. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I have to ask you a question. A couple times Earl said your Beast or your regular Tesla missed a light or missed a sign because of the sun or whatever.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this, the police in Florida are very tough. And if a cop stops you in one of your autonomous cars, I assume you have to stop the car manually yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, now I would say if you don't have a driver's license, you may be getting your car towed away. And I
have an update, though, Marty, and it's going to really be disappointing to Earl and Nancy.
No.
Yeah.
And I just had a chat with ChatGPT, and I challenged it on that. I said, are you sure that, I go, so you're telling me, and then it went on about the levels of driving, and then it clarified itself. Florida's law allows for level 4 and 5 autonomous vehicles that require no human oversight. So they said it does not allow, if the Tesla Cybertruck, not yet, it's not there until it gets to a level 4.
I mean, I would say from the police I've seen down here, you don't want to be without a driver's license.
Yeah, we've been down that road, Marty.
Yeah, and the thing is this, I think when you're over 80, because I got to renew my license this year, or in 25, they only renew it for 6 years instead of 8 years, or, they've got some rule.
That's
But
insulting.
I can just tell you this, you don't want to be without a license.
Well, you got to be crazy if you do. Do you remember the incident where I was?
I didn't want to mention that.
I was pulled over and my driver's license was taken away from me by a North Palm Beach policeman.
I don't remember that.
That is worth telling that story.
Well, it's basically here's you're asking about the police. Okay, so I'm driving to my dealership, and I'm on US 1, and I'm in the middle of US 1, and I'm probably speeding, and I'm probably late to a meeting or something. So a cop is behind me, and there's no place for me to pull over. So I drove all the way to the dealership, and he's behind me with a light going. And I pulled in front of the dealership. Of course, everybody, all my employees poured out on the street. And there's this North Palm Beach policeman. His name was Abramchek, by the way. Abramchek.
You'll never
Excuse
forget
me,
that.
you said you just pulled into the
Yeah, I
dealership.
pulled in.
I
And,
believe they chased
so,
you from
So
one
I
destination
got out of the car,
to another.
and he parked his car, about 3 or 4 car lengths away from me. All my employees are standing out watching this with the lights. So I go to get out of the car, and the police and Abramchek says, "Stay in the car." and he had his, a mega horn
He had the
going
mega
on.
horn out.
And he says, "Get back into the car." I said,
It was
what
like
did
a
I
scene
do?
from
And
Cops.
Long
Marty.
story short, I could run this out. We don't have the time, but the bottom line is. A few weeks later, I got a letter from the state of Florida saying that I no longer had a driver's license. And it turns out that the North Palm Beach police officer had reported me to the Department of Motor Vehicles as being unable to drive because of, he said I was deaf.
Right, you told him you couldn't hear him.
He said I was deaf.
He said you were mentally incapacitated.
I said, and because when he pulled me over, I said I didn't hear your siren and I didn't hear this. Well, in Florida, you can be deaf and drive a car. Deaf is not a incapacity that would make you lose your license. And to get to the bottom line here, I found out that the reason he had done that to me was because his wife worked for my dealership, and I had fired his wife.
Oh boy!
And and when he did that, I was able to find out that he reported me. Long story short, I got a judgment against the town of North Palm Beach, and Abramchek is no longer there, and I won the lawsuit. So if you stand up to the police, if you stand up for what's right, or in this case maybe for what was wrong, but I was right and wrong.
Yeah. Marty, what a can of worms this was.
Yeah,
We're laughing about it now.
I just wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
When we first came down here, I was in Delray in one of these strip malls, and some guy was backing his car out, and I blew my horn just so the guy didn't bang into me. All of a sudden, this cop pulls me over and said, "You're not supposed to blow your horn here." I said, "Well, I can only tell you this. You don't give somebody a ticket for blowing their horn, as far as I know."
It's freedom of speech.
He gave me a good bawling out. I said, "Well, this guy was backing up." He said, "Well, I'll let you go this time." So you got to watch out here in Florida.
Most people don't stand up, and I know why.
They set a stop sign, and when I got the ticket, the cop said to me, "How long you been living down here?" I said, "Well, I'm a snowbird." I said, "I go back and forth." He said, "Well, you had your New York licenses on too long." I said, "Well, as far as I know, you're allowed to go back and forth." He gave me a ticket.
Oh, no.
So I say, watch out. Don't drive without a driver's license.
Well, that's a good warning
Good
for
point.
normal people. If you're crazy like I am, I don't worry about those things.
What are they going to do?
Well, you can go to court. I'm not going to court, and I'm not paying for a lawyer.
Yeah,
I'll get the
the
license.
North Palm Beach Police, which no longer exists, the sheriff's department is
Right.
in North Palm Beach now. But the North Palm Beach Police had a watch out for me. They called me Bigfoot, and anytime they saw me, they would get behind me and see if I was going 1 mile over the speed limit. That had to do with another instance where I again went to court with the police.
That was Lake Park.
Lake Park.
Yeah,
I said
you were
North
Lake
Palm
Park,
Beach.
yeah.
Lake Park Police.
Lake
I'm sorry.
Park is where you're
Yeah,
the
Lake
golden
Park
boy.
and North Palm Beach are
And
side
we
by side.
don't have time to
Yes.
go into the
Spread
all the
together.
details, Marty, but it is quite entertaining. But what's more entertaining is the fact that we have a fantastic mystery shopping report.
Okay,
So
well,
I'm
listen,
gonna
you have
bid
have
you a
Merry
happy
Christmas,
holiday.
Have a happy holidays, Happy New Year. Well, you're going to be on next week, too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
If we all show up, we'll be on.
Yeah.
I promise I will
God
be
willing.
on time next week. I promise.
Yes.
I promise I'll be here before 8:30.
Have a great weekend, Marty.
Well, somebody noted that you should give Rick a new clock.
Rick has not been late once in like 15
And
years.
he's very faithful.
All right.
Very.
Well,
Thank you, Marty. Okay, speaking of the mystery shopping report, let me go to the automotive news first that you and I talked about, Earl.
Yeah.
And that's Amazon. They're expanding their car shopping to over 48 cities in the U.S. Interesting. Now, let's get to the mystery shopping
mystery
report.
shopping report.
We're starting the mystery shopping report just a little bit early because it's so interesting. And you folks out there, boy, I'll tell you what, your input is extremely important. You can text, your thoughts and your grade. That's 772-497-6530. That mystery shopping report is from Hyundai. That's Hyundai of Coconut Creek, and they have a Amazon Auto program, and it is interesting, well written by Stu and the amazing our mystery shopper, Agent Lightning.
field work.
She just does a great job week in and week out going into these dealerships. So the mic is all yours.
Well, if you're interested in buying a Hyundai or a Genesis or a Kia, I guess.
Yeah, the Hyundai cars.
Of that company, you absolutely have to try this. Now, let me explain. Amazon almost a year ago said that they were going to start doing this. It took them a while to finally get going on it, and it is the most difficult thing. I don't know how Jeff Bezos and whoever he dealt with Hyundai put this thing together, but they did. I don't know how they got it by their dealers, but basically, you can go on Amazon right now and look and buy yourself a Hyundai, a Kia, or a Genesis, any model you want, and they give you the out-the-door price. They also will handle the financing, and they also will allow you to, I say allow you, you should go to a dealer. It doesn't have to be the one that you're buying from, but you should go into the dealership. The dealers actually can compete with Amazon. So what Amazon has done is provided a good price, but the key is it's a firm price. It's an out-the-door price. The dealer fees are totally disclosed. You know the bottom line number that you write the check for or finance. There's no Mickey Mouse. It's not come back later and I'll give you a lower price kind of thing. So if the Amazon deal with Hyundai does nothing else, it gives a firm, good, reasonable out-the-door price.
Like a starting point that you can use.
Yeah.
Like you
like the Costco auto program.
Right.
It's a good price, but that's not to say you can't beat a Costco price. Right. You can.
Right. And we will see in the shopping report that how she uses the price from
exactly.
Amazon.
So don't ask the dealer, and you'll see this in the mystery shopping report about the Amazon program, because nobody in the dealership knows about it, and or at least they tell you they don't know about it. But the first thing you do is you get your Amazon price, and you get all
really
the details.
Easy. Yeah, because it comes up right in, like, if you're searching for some toothpaste on Amazon, and you put in toothpaste, you put in Hyundai. And just like the toothpaste, they all come up, and right there in that first search result that you see, you'll see the price, and you'll see the discount from MSRP. You'll see any additions like the dealer fees, and then you go in there. So you'll see it. So she did a great job exploring it like a brand new customer would.
So here's a mystery shop, a Hyundai of Coconut Creek, and slash Amazon Autos. Now, we know this dealership, and we know that the Page family owns the Coconut Creek Hyundai, and I think, I'm not putting swear to that,
Yeah,
but
we
there were
talked
several
about,
down
because
there.
we shopped them somewhat recently. Just a regular shop.
Yeah. Okay, I'm reading in the first person. As if I were Agent Lightning. Here we go. I started by looking into purchasing a car through Amazon. Okay, this is the way you should do it too. As per Earl's request, that's me. The first thing I noticed was Amazon's limited time offer of $2,300 in gift cards for buying a car through them. Now, again, 70% of the people listening, or maybe more, understand Amazon, understand what their gift card thing is. A gift card at Amazon is almost like cash. I mean, it's real money. There's no Mickey Mouse. They sell everything in the world.
Yeah.
So it's like
we use them as prizes at the dealership for things.
So you're going to get right away the price that they give you is discounted by $2,300 in gift cards. So so you got that deal locked. Now you can shop and compare that with as many Hyundai dealers as you want to. It was easy to find the car I wanted on Amazon. I just searched new Hyundai Santa Cruz, and a bunch of listings turned up. I clicked on the new 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz being sold by Hyundai of Coconut Creek. The price listed on Amazon was $31,239. It indicated the MSRP was $32,139. $185. Extremely important information. And when we mystery shop most places, we don't know where the Bruni label is. It's usually hidden somewhere by the dealer, especially in South Florida. The price of listing indicated excluded, and this is clearly stated, not hidden in the fine print.
Right there.
The price of listing indicated excluded government fees, taxes, and $958 in dealer fees. Now, we'll talk about that later. So, a comment was made to me, well, but they're charging a dealer fee. A dealer fee is not a bad thing as long as it's included in the out-the-door price. The dealer fee was created, and by dealer fee we call them junk fees, we call them hidden fees. They are the purpose of these junk fees is to add to the advertised or quoted price in a manner that you do not understand entirely or confuse for a government fee that you have to pay. So there is nothing wrong. I bite my tongue as I say it. There's nothing wrong with a junk fee as long as it's disclosed up front.
Right.
As part
Let's
of the
simplify.
average.
Here's a little cartoonish version.
Yeah.
How much for that car? It's $20,000 plus $1,000.
Yeah.
It's a weird way to say it, but that's what we're saying.
Yeah. So home delivery was not offered, but free pickup in 3 days was. Now, meaning Amazon is not going to administer the delivery of the car to you, but you call the dealership nearest you or any dealer and find out if they'll deliver the car to you, and that can happen.
Who knows? In a couple of years, they might be doing it.
So I clicked on purchase car. I mean, you've all done this on Amazon, most of you, and found a breakdown of the pricing. It was clear that the $946 discount was negated by the $958 in dealer fees, and those are junk fees. So I wish nobody would ever use the word dealer fee or electronic filing fee. It makes people mad. It confuses them.
I felt bad.
But once you understand that the only power a junk fee has is to be slipped in on you after you thought you had the bottom line price. That is not the case with Amazon, and this is not the case here. So the price was a little more than MSRP. So after all that, the Amazon price was actually just a little bit more than MSRP, which may or may not be a good price for this particular Hyundai Santa Cruz. I don't know, but you will know because you'll shop and compare that price.
Agent Lightning is actually, she's texting me. She says she's watching on YouTube.
Oh.
And she says Coconut Creek listed a pre-delivery fee, which she thought was a little tricky on their part.
Well, what it does is on the Amazon listing, it says a total of $958 in dealer fees. Then it breaks it down into a pre-delivery fee and then the tire and battery fee.
Yeah.
Which are legit, but they're very small.
Yeah, Amazon is probably adopted the generic dealer fee because if you go to 1,000 dealers and get their junk fee, there'll be 900 different names.
Yeah.
Every dealer, especially in Florida.
I was hoping to catch Amazon not catching that. I was hoping to see.
I wish they called it a junk fee. Yeah, they probably that was.
But I was hoping to see somewhere labeled as legitimate, like an electronic filing fee, and it didn't slip past them. They got it. So
there was a place that had F&I products like Gap, Etch, and maintenance. I declined all of these. So you're again.
No pressure.
I can't say this too often. You've got the price from Amazon. You know that's the bottom line price. You know that's what you can write your check out for. When you go into the dealership, you're back in their clutches again, but all you do is keep repeating it. It's like a Costco buying program. I'm a Costco member. I'm an Amazon member. This is my price. This is what I'm going to pay. Because the dealers, as you will see as we go down this report, will try tactics. I went through an identity verification process where I answered questions about past residences and finance autos. This process where they do a soft credit pull and ask you to corroborate certain information. I stopped where I was asked to complete a credit report, and I headed down to Coconut Creek Hyundai. My plan was to tell them my husband wanted to buy the car on Amazon, but I insisted on coming in. When I walked into the showroom, a salesperson named Chavoy, Chevoy, greeted me and asked if I needed any help. I replied yes. My husband hates coming to dealerships and was looking on Amazon to purchase his car, but I insisted on coming in to see it. He laughed and said, that was a smart move, okay? First negative comment about the Amazon program. The salespeople and the managers, the guy that made the deal with Amazon was probably either the dealer or the dealer went along with the manufacturer wanted it so bad.
He signed up.
Salesman doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't want.
He signed the agreement.
Yeah. I hear we're doing that now, but we haven't sold any cars through Amazon yet. That may be true, or it may not be true. He's a car salesman, so you know he's lying because his lips are moving.
No, stop that.
It would be a big mess if we did. It'd be our first. If you did buy from Amazon, where would you go for service? Now that's a lie. See,
Where would you go to service?
It's a statement.
You go to an Amazon fulfillment center.
Because here's something a lot of people don't realize. It doesn't make any difference where you buy a new car.
Right.
The dealership is obligated by contract with the manufacturer to service the car. I can't. If somebody bought a new Toyota from my worst enemy and brought that car into our dealership and said, I want you to change the oil and rotate the tires because that's the factory owner's manual. And I said, no. Toyota could cancel my franchise.
You agreed to
I
do
have
it,
a contract that says I'm obligated to maintain and repair, according to the manufacturer's recommendations, every Toyota on the road that comes into my dealership. So the same thing is true with Hyundai. So this salesperson is either sadly misinformed or a liar to say something like that. Where am I?
Where would you go for service?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Would you receive the car? Someone has to make money besides Amazon. This is just crazy to me. So total negativity on the part of the Hyundai salesperson.
Chavoy sounds like a very old, like an old timer. Like he's been around. Yeah.
So the salesman kept rambling about how they hadn't received any training and didn't really understand the process. Well, if that's true, it's not right. They should have, but they didn't. Things will improve as this program continues to remain in existence. All I know is that Amazon supposedly offers a $2,300 discount, he added. I showed him the promotion on my phone, explaining how it's $2,300 in the Amazon gift cards a few weeks after purchase. He replied, I'll tell you what, let me show you the car, and then we can talk to my manager to see if we can get you a really good discount to beat Amazon's price. How does that sound? So this is what's good about it. He will beat Amazon's price. And so you are in a better position than you would be. Now, you can also take the price that they beat Amazon's by and go to another Hyundai dealer. What this Amazon program does, it gets you started with a good price, which you can shop and compare. It's like our dealership, our Toyota dealership. We don't have the lowest price all the time, but we have our best price, our lowest price that we can afford to charge you. And you can take our low price and take it to another Toyota dealer, and if you get a lower price, you get a really good deal. You get even better than our deal. That's what it is with Amazon. You'll get a good price from Amazon, and then you go to any Amazon dealer, any Hyundai dealer, and you can negotiate a good price with a fantastic price. That's what life is all about. That's what shopping, comparing the free market system is all about.
I hope they switch from the $2,300 in gift cards to an actual discount.
Because unless you know Amazon, if you said to me, "I'll give you a check for $2,300 or $23 in gift certificates," it wouldn't make any difference to me.
Well, to you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I buy everything on Amazon.
Right.
But Nancy'd spend that this afternoon.
Right, but You'd want the check. Trust me, you'd want the check.
Okay, here, where am I? Okay, you probably, I'll tell you what.
Hey, before
Okay.
you go on,
I said-
Earl, I wanted to tell our listeners that this Amazon Autos, it's real easy. You can go to the platform, and they really make it easy for you. You can browse, you can order, you can finance, and you can schedule your pickup. So there's a lot of easy things about this whole process. It's going to take a while to catch on.
Yeah. Anyway, so as this conversation with the salesman goes on, he says, I'll tell you what, let me show the car, then we can talk to my manager to see if we get you a really good discount to beat Amazon's price. And, of course, that sounds good. I said, even better, that way I can show my husband I wasn't right to come in today. It'd be now it's totally worth it. I gave him the stock number of the car I found on Amazon, and he pulled it up in the system. Then he said he grabbed the keys so we could take a look. I asked, what's your name again? Chavoy. He said, before excusing himself to get the keys, I decided to wait outside for him. I waited out front for about 8 minutes before heading back inside. He wasn't around, but the sales manager noticed me and asked, are you being helped? I replied, yes, I believe it's Chavoy. Is that how you pronounce his name? The manager chuckled. That's one way, but I'm not quite sure how he says it, which is strange that a sales manager wouldn't know how to pronounce the name of his people that work for him.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't ignoring you. He walked back into the sales office. I returned outside, waited another 5 minutes before Chavoy, the salesman, finally pulled up at the car. As he walked past me, he said, excuse me, for 1 minute, my boss is calling me, and went right back inside. It was 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz, same vehicle, with an MSRP of $32,185. That's the one that you got on Amazon, got the exact car. A few minutes later, he returned with another person walking toward a different car. As I climbed into the car he had brought for me, he motioned for me to wait, but I went ahead to get familiar with it. I waited in a running car writing this report. It took 18 minutes before Chavoy returned, sat in the passenger seat. He apologized for explaining that the person parked next to the Santa Cruz had bought a car from earlier, needed to grab their Sun Pass and a few other things. Finally, we went on a test drive. Once back at the dealership, we sat at his desk, and he said, my sales manager will definitely want to hear about your Amazon experience. Yeah, the sales manager probably doesn't know what's going on either. Well,
I don't think
they
so.
haven't sold one yet. The program's brand new, so a lot of
Be
this is
patient.
understandable. Then he asked, what's your credit like on a scale of 1 to 10? I replied, it's in the low 700s, and I already have a good idea of the financing after being on Amazon. He laughed. Amazon has no way of doing financing. Now, another lie. Jeff Bezos, he's the second richest man in the world.
He can't loan money.
And he can't finance cars. It's amazing that he'd even offer a rate. I showed him the financing details on my phone. He just shook his head, chuckling. So, again, I know this sounds...
He's incredulous.
Right.
I don't believe that.
He excused himself to speak with the sales office behind the glass walls. A few minutes later, returned with a pricing sheet. The top line was MSRP, $32,185. He took off a $3,200 discount. He added a $949 junk fee and sales tax. I showed him Amazon's pricing, which he had beaten, and he said, I gave you the absolute best price we can offer. I hope we can make a deal. You know what? It probably is a great price.
Well, they matched the discount, but with cash.
Yeah.
And so it came out just a little better.
A little better. It's a good price.
It is. Yeah.
If Agent Lightning were actually buying a car, I would say that I would do like I would go to 2 or 3 other Hyundai dealers. I would do, if you went to 2 or 3 other Hyundai dealers on top of this, and in South Florida, you could hit those in one afternoon, you'd probably tweak the price down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because now you got 2 numbers.
Absolutely.
You got the Amazon number, and you got a Coconut Creek number.
And it took no energy to get the first number, so that's the best
The
part.
Amazon car buying program is the perfect channel to begin your shopping comparison. I'm not suggesting that you buy your Hyundai on Amazon. I'm suggesting that you get the Amazon price and then you shop and compare with Hyundai dealers and be sure that you're getting the outdoor price. I pointed out that Amazon's site showed a 3.98% rate for low 700 credit scores. How soon are you planning to make a decision, he asked. I need to talk to my husband, but likely the next day or so, I replied. He mentioned he was going out of town for the holidays, hoped it would be soon. Then he said his sales manager, Matt, wanted to say hello. I waited a few minutes. Matt came over. I hear you've got a date at the casino, so I won't keep you long. He said, I just want to make sure Chavoy covered everything. I went through the Amazon process myself to get you the best possible price, and I feel this is as good as we can do. So this is a historic moment. And
it was for them, too.
Historic moment. And our first mystery shop with the Amazon price, and hopefully and Amazon will be expanding this to all manufacturers. And the more people that jump on the Amazon program, the lower the prices are going to come. But no matter how high or low the prices are, you as the American consumer have your precious right of a bottom line out the door price that you can shop and compare. That's the way you should buy everything. Eggs, bacon, cars, houses, shop and compare a real price. And the car dealers of the world have deprived you of that right up until now, and Amazon has restored your right to do this.
Yeah, this is the greatest thing, that I can imagine. But Agent Lightning mentioned she didn't put in the mystery shopping report the fact that she had gone for a test drive and turned the vehicle off. Had to be embarrassing. Oh. And then they had to jump. They had to jump the vehicle.
That always sucks.
So, apparently the battery on the car was no good
was
on a
embarrassing.
brand new 2025 car.
Yeah. Those things happen. That's an embarrassing moment for a salesperson. But hopefully
absolutely.
he got around it.
Between not knowing about the program and giving out, I'm going to call it fake news, it just was, enlightening. Things have to change, and there has to be more
I can't
education.
hear you.
Pardon me?
I can't hear you.
Ah. Okay.
I heard you. No, what's important, the audience heard you. This whole thing, I was expecting it to be a cluster. I really didn't think. I went in looking for how Coconut Creek Hyundai was going to try and gig the system, sneaking fees. So first of all, I was really impressed of how easy on the first go around it was to find a car, get a price. It took no time. As a matter of fact, it takes less time to find an outdoor price than it does on our website, because our website you still have to click through to see it. So it's on the actual bottom lines out there. So that was really good. As far as the experience at the dealership goes, it was embarrassing. This is Billy Page's fault or somebody's to put it something that is out there. The world, they're using it for someone to come in. Imagine coming if we had a sale, which we don't, but somebody comes in and the salesperson doesn't know. It's not the salesperson's fault. It's the dealer or whoever signed it up. At least have a meeting. Tell your people might be coming in with these things, because that just saves awkward moments and confusion. And Agent Lightning had a mission, but if she was just an innocent consumer, she walked in there, it would be really off-putting. Is this legit? I think maybe some would turn around and leave after they said you. Yeah,
a person would have their doubts.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It
was telling. Excuse me. It was telling that the. I believe that Agent Lightning said that the jumper box was in the back seat. So was there problems?
Maybe they knew something was going on. Like Rex said, it was probably they needed to just change the battery out.
Yeah.
But then how they handled it, though, they looked into it. The sales manager said he went on Amazon. So he went in there. He saw what the price was. He saw the discount that was being given in the form of discards, and he basically matched it. And so that's, he could have gone a different way. He could have said that's not legit. He could have made up a bunch of things. He said, we'll drive another. They didn't.
Some advice to the listeners. If you're going to try the program, we'll tell you the same thing we tell Costco program members. If there's any nonsense, if you're told something that isn't according to the program that you suspect is big sneaky at the dealership, call Amazon, because Amazon has cut a deal, and if they're not abiding by the program, then the top dog at that dealership will get a call from Amazon.
Sure.
And in this case, that top dog at that dealership will probably get a call from Hyundai
That's who they'll
because
get
Hyundai has a contractual agreement, and the performance and fairness of the dealership in complying with their contract is very important. Violation of contract. So
They got to get in line.
Costco program, the Amazon program, always report to Amazon or to Costco if there's some funny business in your mind going on at the dealership.
T Cash wants to know, is there an option for nitrogen on Amazon?
I don't know.
Somebody do this. Somebody try nitrogen for tires on Amazon. That'd be funny. You know, the funny thing is there probably is on Amazon, because Amazon not only represents everybody in the world, you know, retailers, but even some that are kind of scams. I mean, if you can buy almost anything on Amazon if it's legal.
I've bought some garbage that didn't work. I've very disappointed in some things. But you gotta watch out. If it's cheap, you never heard of the name. All right, so we got some grades coming in.
You know, this is, excuse me, Stu, this is interesting. I just noticed from ChatGPT that as the program evolves, Amazon plans to introduce an additional, options for the consumer, and that is in leasing and financing. And they're pretty excited, very excited about this automotive online buying, and it's going to be easy peasy.
Yeah. Jonathan in Palm Coast, I don't know I'm just going to read it. He says, I had a miserable experience with this dealership in the past with missing Monroney labels, storage fees, gas fees, dealer fees, dock fees, and other fraudulent fees. Yes, they charge you for storing the car in their garage prior to you buying the car, and their out-the-door price was unreasonably high with no room for negotiation. Automatic F from me based on personal experience. And that's Jonathan in Palm Coast. Bob said he went on Amazon to buy a grade for this mystery shop, and he purchased an F for Coconut Creek Hyundai. They included an Amazon gift card with the purchase. That's harsh, Bob. My grade is going to be a lot more, lot sweeter. It will be, I think I'm going to give him a C+. Because the opportunity, we grade on the actual shop, not prior stuff. So I can't do what Bob did. So I can't consider that. But they did really well as far as once they had the price, they did it, and they did the right thing. They beat it, and so that's a good thing. It could have gone horribly wrong. So that's mine. C+ for me.
Great. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let me mention that text number. We would love to hear from you, and it would be very interesting to hear from you and how you feel about this Amazon Auto platform that's been introduced. So text us at 772-497-6530, 772-497-6530, because our phones are off right now. Rick?
I've got Johnny C. Fradley says, the dealer taking off $2,300 or $3,200 in that case is a lot better than $2,300 in gift cards because of the sales tax you save on the $3,200 discount. He did give them a D though. Brian Sidlatko says it took Amazon to get this great deal. Amazon A, dealership B+. T Cash says D, new dog, same tricks. Tim Gilliland still shading the truth at times, B-. Joseph Kelleher says C+, grade would be higher without the junk fee. Mark H says a B, where are you going to service your car? What a crock. Tom Steckel says A for the Amazon program. This forces transparency. I sensed the dealership was a bit defensive since this approach forces them to change their sales tactics. And he says, I wonder if the Amazon can buy a new attorney general. Mark Smith says, I'll give the dealership a B. They should try a little harder to earn their sales. Cram says, what a difference. This is a new way to shop for a car. You still need to shop 3 dealers, and dealers need to learn the Amazon program and educate their salespeople. He gives them a B. Mark H says, I'm sure the dealer owner would be happy to jettison the sales staff and have Amazon be the salesman. Oh, and T Cash says, can the car be returned at Kohl's? For me, I'm going to say A for Amazon because I think that is an
That's a good way to do
excellent
it, yeah.
way to run a program there. And I'm going to give Hyundai, I'm going to say a C, because I think they made her wait around too long and had a few too many games going on there.
Well, I'll copy your C. I think a C for the dealership is fair. They were kept under control by the Amazon program, and of course Amazon, they're the only game in town. They get an A. I think their program can improve. I think, like Sue said earlier, I think for them to refer to these fees as dealer fees, there should be more disclosure about the fees that the dealer might add. But to use a dealer fee is almost misleading. It is misleading. I think they should go to junk fee. Junk fee is an acceptable term now, and they should require that. I don't know.
Maybe that was a
upfront.
sticking point in negotiations, and they said our dealers will not let you call it junk fees. You know?
Could
Okay,
be,
so your grade
C.
C. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. Thanks, Jonathan. I'm going to give Amazon an A. I love Amazon. As far as the dealership was concerned, I'm going to give, excuse me, I'm going to give them a C minus. Do you have any other votes for us?
I don't
I
think
expected
so.
to hear from more of our audience.
We got more. Any more over there on YouTube?
We are caught up here right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to hear from next week, now that we know about the Amazon program being available. All you Hyundai, Genesis, Kia buyers out there, try the Amazon program. Even if you're not going to buy a car, we'd love to hear your experiences, because this is a thing coming. It's got to be questioned how much longer before it's accepted by the car dealerships.
Yeah, another wave of the future, and it's going to be an amazing time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Earl on Cars, and we so appreciate you and your company. You're a big part of the show. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you right back here next Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on the Oldies Channel.